Welcome back everyone. In this lecture I'm going to explain the assembly language execution flow. So in the last lecture where we made a hello world program, I explained how the start symbol is the first symbol that gets executed when your operating system loads you. So how the execution flow will work is the OS will call our start symbol, okay, after loading all of our sections into memory, okay? And then it will begin executing immediately. So this line will be run, line 12. Then line 13, then line 14, then line 15, then line 16. And it will keep going all the way down until we get to our exit. It's common for people who are first using assembly language to assume that these things are functions when we make labels. But that couldn't be further from the truth, okay? I will give you an example. Let's say we removed this exit. And I don't know, let's say we made a sum label, okay? Like a little sum function, just as an example. And in here, I don't know, let's say that we did add RDI, RSI, and then we returned, okay? With the ret instruction. Don't worry if you don't understand what all these instructions are, because I will explain them. This lecture is just more about the execution flow, okay? Now, let's say you call start. The operating system calls start, for example. We output the message as normal, but it doesn't just end there. It'll start executing our sum subroutine. And the reason for that is because assembly language always executes running downwards. It doesn't care. It'll run through every single label here. So the way you stop that is an infinite jump. So if I did jump this, it'll keep jumping back to line 18 forever. Okay? Meaning that the sum will never get run. So you can think of this as a while one loop, essentially, you know, like an infinite loop, essentially. Without this, the sum routine will get executed because these are not functions, okay? These are not functions at all. Now, you should also know that the ret instruction also prevents code beneath it from running. So if we had some code here, for example, like an infinite jump, this will never be run because we call ret, which returns from a subroutine, okay? You can't just use ret whenever you want. There are rules to how that's used. There needs to be a call instruction. So for example, we could say call sum, and then a ret is allowed. But if we did jump sum, so it jumps straight to the sum label, then the ret would not work, okay? It would cause massive problems for us. But we're going to explain more about jumps and calls later on. So this lecture has mostly been about the execution flow and explaining how that works, which is really important, okay? Now here, guys, the data section, if we were to put this text section above it, like this, and let's get rid of this sum. So you might think, with my older logic, that what would happen is it would keep running into the data section and try to execute hello world as code. And you would be right if there wasn't a section.data. If there wasn't a section.data, even though hello world is not assembly code, it would still try to execute it because the processor doesn't know the difference. So it will treat this hello world as essentially machine code, and it will try to execute it as if it was operation codes on the CPU, which would result in all sorts of problems and, you know, program termination, of course, because the kernel would have to catch a bunch of errors and then it would terminate your program. But with the section data, that stops that from happening because the data section is separate from the text section, okay? So in the memory, when this program is loaded, the hello world is way away from the code here. It's not linear because the data section is stored in a different part of memory than the text section, okay? So we use the data section for data, we use the text section for code, okay? But depending which section we use will determine what everything under it will be treated like. So for example, everything in the data section here, it's marked as not executable. So if the processor did try to execute this, which it would, by the way, if you try to jump to it. So if I did something like jump message, for example, it's going to jump there and try to execute it. But because the data section is not executable, it will result in a fault which the kernel will handle, okay? So depending which sections you use, depends how that data is treated, okay? So the moment you write section.text, everything under this will go in the text section until it encounters another section change, such as section.data, okay? And then the new rules apply, where data is not executable. So the operating system will mark this memory as not executable. So I hope that makes sense, guys. I hope I've explained that well to you and how the execution flow actually works in assembly. So simply put, we always run downwards, okay? And we always stay in our section, unless we have some code that treats it otherwise, such as a jump into the data section, for example. And labels are not functions, as I've just demonstrated with the sum example. Thanks for watching this free YouTube video teaching you a topic on assembly language. If you really like this course, you can even learn kernel development in the description and put those assembly skills to practice. Check the video description where you'll get a link to the paid course at Dragon's App, and you'll learn how to build your very own 32-bit protected mode kernel that's multitasking all from scratch.